Hello and welcome to the first in some of my Darkfall videos, giving you a quick look at the game. Now basically starting off, I am a total noob at this game. I've only just started playing. I just wanted to show everyone what it's like. I think there's quite a lot of mystery surrounding the game really. A lot of people don't really know how it actually plays, because there's no free trial or anything like that, so to try the game you have to go out and buy it. So what I'm hoping to do is just give people a show at what the game is actually like, so everyone knows whether they think it's their kind of thing or not. So again, I am a total noob. Ooh, barely been playing long at all, a couple of hours. So this is kind of my first experience in the world, as well as you guys, or at least some of you guys. So before I get shouted out by some of the proper Darkfall players for sucking, well, I'm warning you now. Now to start off, I mean, I've really been enjoying the game. It's really different to anything really out there, and that's what's appealing to me the most. I mean, there's so many fantasy MMOs out there, and I've played a lot of them, but they're all kind of boiled down to the same kind of thing. Whereas Darkfall is quite different, really, in a lot of its aspects. I mean, visually, as you can see, the game's quite pretty. It's not amazing. Annoyingly, they haven't got the anti-aliasing working yet, so you may notice a few jaggies here and there, but it's not actually as bad as games like, I mean, Vanguard doesn't have the anti-aliasing either, but you notice that quite a lot more than you do in Darkfall. I've also got the post-processing enabled as well, graphics option, which kind of gives a cel-shaded look to the whole world, which for some reason I quite like. In terms of graphics, one advice I do give to new players is to turn off shadows if you're having any kind of performance problems. I mean, I've just got a new gaming PC, so it should be able to play it fine, but with shadows on I get about 40 frames per second on average, and when I turn off shadows it goes up to like 180, so I mean it's completely pointless having them on for that kind of frame rate loss. I mean, I don't even notice it. The game does look prettier with them on, but you don't really notice it, to be honest. This video will be running at about 30 frames per second, just because that's what it's recording at, so if anyone calls me out on it not being 180, that is the reason. Right, so first off I'm going to show some combat. At the moment I've got to go kill some kobolds. I've got 41 minutes to do it. So as you can see, the game is like, the ranged combat and the magic combat is all first person. Now what that means is that you actually have to aim and fire at enemies. Like, you don't, unlike other MMOs, you don't just click on them and start firing. You actually have to aim your bow and account for the dip in arrows from distance and whatnot. Now because I'm certainly new to the game, I don't know if as you get better with bows you get less dip on the arrows, but I'm assuming that's the case. That's 3 down. Yeah, so this is the bow and arrow combat. It's one of my favourite aspects of the game. I quite enjoy it actually. And there's magic as well, which I'll show in a sec. Arrows, like some of the games, you actually have to get arrows. You don't just have an infinite amount of them, which is cool. I like that. And you can craft your own and whatnot, but I haven't got around to that yet. Now in terms of skills, unlike other MMOs, you go to like, you just earn your skills and whatnot. In Darkfall, you get better at skills as you use them, because basically there is no classes whatsoever in the game. It is all defined by the players, which is really cool. Again, another quite unique aspect to the game. It's not the first one to do it obviously, but it's not really seen in many MMOs recently. Neat little touch that the arrows stay stuck in the enemies. Ooh. Now when you go into melee combat, it goes into third person. Here I'm just clicking. You do get different, like, depending on where you hit the enemy and stuff like that, it does affect. You can parry as well, you can duck. You can parry, and these change the hitboxes on the player itself, so it's quite important to use the tools you have. As you can see, right, enemies they have like a gravestone, and this allows you to loot them. So if you run up to it, press the use key. You get their inventory, and then you actually have to drag the stuff onto yours, which is again something quite different. Yeah. There we go. Automatically stacks. I think that's quite a recent feature. Thank God. Now, one of the unique aspects of Darkfall is actually the inventory system. I mean, initially you think, wow, this is quite clunky, but when you actually get down to it, it's pretty cool, pretty different system. Now, the manual looting stuff actually adds an importance to the game, because basically the world is free PvP, so anyone can come along. I'm sure most of you already know this, but anyone can come along and attack you at any point. Now there is some kind of penalties and morale system and whatnot that I'm not really sure of the details of yet, so I'm not gonna say in case I get it wrong. But what's quite important is to make sure that you're safe when you're looting, as that I just highlighted right there. Because you don't want to die here. Really don't want to die here. You can get killed whilst looting, which is quite important. But also, like I said, you drop all your loot for anyone to come and take. So I mean, you really have to be careful with what you do. Have to make sure you're safe when you're going into combat, and really, if your life gets anywhere below about 30%, you want to be getting out of there, because it's just too risky. But you only lose what you have on you, so initial noob tip is to bank everything that's important to you. Like, as soon as you can, any kind of opportunity you get, is whack your money in your bank and whatnot, so that if you ever do get killed, you've got a far less chance of losing anything important. Yeah, I mean, like, I've got all my materials and whatnot are in my bank, so if I do die, it's not too important. But I mean, when you do die, you'll respawn back at a safe zone of some sorts, and you can head back to your grave and loot that as well. So you can get your stuff back. It's just the fact that anyone could come along and loot it. So yeah, you got to be careful with that aspect of the game. As you can see here, I'm just resting. If you want to equip your swords and whatnot, and your weapons, and fire up the rest skill, and your guy will sit down and slowly regenerate your stamina and health and mana. As you can see at the bottom, you have your stamina, health, mana bars, and also an alignment. Now that's to do with the PvP stuff, which again I'm not too sure.